feminism and a specific case that happened somewhere along the East Coast where girls were suing their classmates for rating them. Now, I've heard of first wave feminism, guys, second wave, even third wave now, and I kind of agreed with the first wave feminism, equal rights, but I think it's getting a little out of control. What about you guys?
True. I think feminism, the word feminist on its basic level is like warranted. I mean, we need equal rights between genders, but when we start victimizing, when women start making themselves victims, and even when men do it, obviously, and when races do it, I think it's uncalled for because it belittles them. They're bringing bad things upon themselves by claiming a victim or being a victim.
Yeah. Caleb, what are your thoughts?
In America today, there's this idea of like intersectionality, that the more intersexual you are, then the better you are, the more able you are to talk about something. And that idea is not conducive to a society that can discuss issues on a comprehensive scale. And so we need to stop stop treating ourselves like victims and recognize that we live in the greatest country in the world, and recognizing that we're all privileged because we live in America.
Yeah, I think a lot of times, like, when people put a label on people, especially, a lot of times, mostly I see it's the left that puts this label on people. They're like, oh, these guys are the feminists, oh, they're a minority. Then even those people that they label, they start victimizing themselves on purpose, looking for those opportunities, trying to, like, reap benefits or making everyone else see that they are a victim, apparently, especially in this case, the Washington Post. This article just came out yesterday, actually, and this happened. Where did this happen? Caleb, where did this happen?
I believe it was California.
California. It was East Coast.
It was in. It was at a school called the Bethesda Chevy Chase High School.
Bethesda. Okay, that.
Interesting. I think a good thing to add to what you said is
in Maryland. It's
in
East
Maryland.
Coast.
Okay, Maryland.
But anyway, I think a good thing to a good thing to say along with what you said, Lex, is when we title people are people, and when we give them a certain title and we say, well, these are the black people, these are the Hispanic people, right? We're actually being racist. And I know the left seeks not to be racist, right? But by labeling,
by categorizing,
we become racist. And if we look at people as people, like one claim is that our police systems are skewed is because we put a lot more black people in jail, right? But if we look at them as people and we just think, well, they're normal people, there's obviously they're committing more crimes. If you want to label them black people commit more crimes, then you can. But we can also state that just people commit crimes. So we're going to put anyone that commits a crime in prison, just like when we like say these are women and they're a minority. We differentiate, and it's important to differentiate between men and women.
Yeah.
We have different responsibilities where we both are needed in our society, but when we differentiate in like voting and things like that, it's not a problem anymore. And so I don't think it should be that we should continue bringing this up because it, like you said, it creates victimization, which is not healthy.
Yeah, you can't categorize someone and label them as a minority and expect people to already see them like as someone that needs to be compensated for this unknown minority. It's definitely a societal problem. So in this case, in high school in Maryland, Bethesda Chevy Chase High School, a few girls found a list that was made by some teen boys. Now, I don't like to admit it, but I'm sure everyone has done this, us included, even some of the girls in our school.
Actually, I would say, not to be offensive because they're people too, right? I think of
Yeah.
people, all people, right? But I would say the girls at our school, especially girls I know, talk about me way more than I talk about them, right? I mean, because I mean,
Jacob,
it's
you're just
me.
a player.
It's
okay?
me, dog.
Jacob, come on, that's not a comparison.
That's not a comparison.
Very true.
Okay, hey, shut up.
But this list that these girls found was a list of their names and a rating by their name, saying, well, basically grading them on how attractive they were.
And I mean, this isn't like very nice. Like,
Not nice.
We,
no.
well, I mean, we would never tell girls a number. That is not very nice. But
Yeah, telling them directly that, oh, you're not my type, not something that every teenage boy would do, and most likely probably a jerk if they do. But Caleb, and I'm sure you can admit to this, we've done that before. We've definitely, when we're bored, we've started talking about the girls we know, and we're like,
yeah, well, she's attractive.
she's attractive. No, she's not my type. She's
Yeah.
not my type.
Yeah.
I will
And
never
that's
confirm or deny these allegations.
So I think it's important to
A true
notice.
politician.
Yes, amen. I think it's important to notice that everyone like has their own type. Like, I mean, like, I
Yeah.
may be attracted to brunettes. You may be attracted to blondes. You know, we all have our type, but I don't
Yeah.
think one of our points would be that I don't think these girls should be able to sue these boys, and this should be a big
are they
problem.
suing?
I don't think they're suing.
I think it was more like they needed
They're just
punishment for doing
making
this.
punishment.
But
Well,
So-
and the important thing to recognize too also is that these boys it was over a year ago, right? This was made, and they didn't distribute it anywhere. They just talked about it among their friends.
I thought it was
and the
posted
guy
on
that-
social media.
Yeah, they don't know how it got on social media. A year later, they said they didn't do it. It got leaked to social media somehow. They
Yeah.
said they had no idea how they did it.
Okay, so they weren't trying to be mean. They
Yeah.
didn't tell any of the girls. They were trying to be respectful, but
Well,
obviously
it's a little
Iffy,
disrespectful to
but-
rate people based on their looks.
But they didn't tell the girls, and they wanted it to be kept to themselves, right? There were guys talking about what kind of girls they like, right?
Yeah.
Correct?
Fundamentally, this can't be pinpointed on these boys that were in Bethsaida Chevy Chase High School. Every teenager who's cliquey and wants to be popular and wants something to do with their friends does this. Everyone does. I've been rated. You've been rated. Caleb, you've been rated. This isn't.
Yeah, I'm sorry to say, guys, I'm like a 10 out of 10.
Rated.
I'm sorry to say, I'm definitely a 10 out of. Actually, I think I heard it once said that Jacob Walker is an 11 out of 10. I mean, like, I don't know, but no, actually not true. I'm definitely like the square root of 0.01. So it's okay though. It's okay.
I'll
Probably die alone. I'll probably die alone.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Way
gonna be
to
rough,
know you
Jacob.
feel self-confident.
Yeah, I'm very self-conscious. Self-conscious. There you go. Yeah.
And if you did this as an adult, Caleb, if you rated people as an adult, would you consider that a criminal offense, or like would there be different limitations, like from doing this in high school to doing it after you're 18?
I think when you're in high school, you're kind of immature. I mean, whether we
Yeah.
want to admit it or not.
Okay, I'm not.
So you have a little bit of leeway there.
Jeez.
But I mean, it's definitely kind of a jerky move. But if someone rates a bunch of people and then goes and posts it, like puts it on the wall in the school, right? That's obviously something that shouldn't be allowed, right? Could be harassment. That's not something
Yeah, that's
that's
bullying
good.
right there. Making sure people
Yeah.
know.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's
I
wrong.
think it's
But
part of like human nature. It's part of human nature
Yeah,
to
but
rate
are we
attractiveness,
allowing?
whether you put that on the list or not.
Yeah, but are we what's the word? Like encouraging?
Should we discipline it?
Well, are we encouraging people to talk about that stuff, but not tell anyone? Like, that's not a good. We can't say that's a good thing to do.
I wouldn't say it's a good thing, but like obviously, like I'm attracted to girls, and some girls are good looking,
question.
and some girls I don't find attractive. I'm sure there's other guys that find them very attractive, right? We all have preferences, okay? It's not okay to tell those girls that I don't find you attractive because that's unkind, right?
Yeah.
I want to love all people and be nice to all people, right? But so these guys, these boys did not post it, did not tell anyone, and it is low key like mean that they made a list.
Yeah.
But they didn't post it, tell anyone. It was a year ago, and so I think that's also one of the big ploys of the left. They blow lots of these small things up to be big. You know what I mean? When we could just blow over it, we could actually take the steps needed to help these girls feel secure and feel loved, right? Because they're I mean, I believe they're daughters of God, right?
Well, a couple of them had claimed that they did have problems previous to hearing this, and that once they saw these boys objectifying them by placing a number on their looks, a lot of them went into like a depressive state, or that like.
Well, I'm like low key depressed right now because like no girls like me. So
this is definitely a little too far, especially telling them. But this is feminism gone like over the line for sure. Just unnecessary complaints to society. It's not needed to tell the world.
Yeah, see.
Look at the length of this article. There's a couple of teenage boys making a list about the attractiveness of girls merit an article of this length. It's like
long.
5 pages long. It's a long article.
It is a really long article.
And should we be spending like this time?
Well, it needs to be like noted. It needs to be recognized for sure. That
should the press be like
this shouldn't be something notified by the press or like seen by the press. It shouldn't be posted across the world.
I have a question, Max. Switch the genders. Does the Washington Post print an article like this?
Okay, no, definitely not.
If the girls are making a list of
made a
guys,
list on a bunch of guys. Yeah, would there be?
I would just block up and be like,
I don't think men are seen as a minority. I don't think that label's been posted.
So how are women seen as a minority? I mean,
I think just historical.
Okay.
Bias,
but there's probably more. I don't know exactly, but I think there's probably more women in the United States. I shouldn't say I think on this show, but like there's probably like the same amount, right? They're not really a minority.
Well,
but I guess they're seen.
Based on history, it's very recent that men have had the same, or women have had the same exact opportunities as men, right? So now in our generation, they're seen as on an equal basis, and they have the same exact opportunities to get the same jobs, same pay. Well, there is a pay difference, however, that can be undone on that statement, but
disputed.
Yeah, it can be disputed for sure, especially after the research, but. Bottom line, they're equal now, correct?
Are you talking pay or rights?
Just in general, just in society, they have equal opportunities in society.
Absolutely. And what I tend to say is, women today live better than anyone else in the history of the world. Right? We have more products available today than ever. Our quality of life is amazing. We live long, happy lives here in the United States, and women have access to all of that. They have equal rights, equal ability in the workplace to succeed.
And they should.
And they should,
right.
Absolutely. And that's what feminism should be, is allowing women the opportunity. Equality, exactly. But it has become a way to slander men with toxic masculinity and empower women, which is something I don't think is conducive for families, or American culture as a whole.
Yeah, and the point I'm trying to make is how Jacob was saying that the women that are like bigoted towards men is the same as men bigoted towards women. I don't think that's necessarily true because of the historical basis for this. Because women did just recently in the whole the
Scheme
time
of
span,
things, yeah.
in the whole scheme of things, they did just recently become completely equal to men, right?
Right.
Right. So it's
So,
fair.
it's fair
to say
that-
that there are probably still some men out there that are bigoted towards women, saying like, "Oh, they're not up to this. They shouldn't have the same opportunities." But now in society, by law they are equal. By like economical status, they do have the same opportunities. So that's why this article is just so ridiculous. Is that it's still like seen through a lens of like a historical time period way before our time. Yeah, it's still it's seeing America as if we are still extremely bigoted towards women.
Can I ask you a question, Lex?
Yeah,
or
go
Jacob,
ahead.
either one of you. We talked about how making lists and objectifying women that way may not be the best thing.
It might not be nice.
So So could that be an aspect of toxic masculinity?
See, that is hard. Because,
I don't think so. No, because
they do it as well.
Yeah, they do it too. So can we call it toxic?
I've seen less
feminism. Like,
I've definitely
spin
seen
that right around and say, hey, if it's on both sides, we have to recognize it.
Yeah,
That should be something that is prevented and tried to be disciplined.
Okay, so making lists.
Were their rights infringed? They weren't.
No.
Maybe it was rude.
Yeah.
That they had to be objectified by their peers. But
that,
their
again,
rights were not infringed. So
I think
you can't stop them from making these lists.
Okay. Yeah, and I think it's important to say it's important that we understand that we shouldn't care. Like, I know this sounds harsh, but we shouldn't, as the government shouldn't care about people's feelings. We should do what's right?
Yeah.
The left, I say this again, the left cares a lot about how people feel. I feel this, I feel that. I can make up certain things. I can say the world's going to end in 12 years just because I feel like we need to change the world and we need to change how we're going to.
I don't think the left wants to be identified with AOC.
Okay, that's probably true. Yeah, we don't want to. They probably don't.
I think.
But at the same time,
put it. Go ahead, Jacob.
But yeah, they want to. It's all about feeling. But we shouldn't care about your feelings, right?
The government should not.
The government should do what's right,
here.
and they should not be intervening here. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, it's not nice, but the government should not be. It should not be a problem.
Well, it was
as far
protests
as the government goes.
by these girls going in to their school office and reporting this as like harassment.
Yeah.
So, and public schools are government funded, correct? So, is this a government issue? It shouldn't be, but they did give some boys in school detention. So should they be getting punished for this? Yeah, should they be getting punished for it? It was mean, granted, but should that boy have been in school detention for an insulting list that he wrote up and these girls just saw?
I don't know that I don't think so, probably, but I think if they put him in school detention to make these girls happy, that I guess would have been fine. I'm sure the boy would have been fine with it to say, okay, I'm sorry. They were friends, apparently. They said that these people were friends, and so I'm sure he would have been fine, like, okay, I'm sorry I hurt your feelings. I'll just take in school detention. But then these girls said they were unsatisfied with that, and they wanted it to go further, and they wanted him to be punished more and these boys to be punished further. And it's just this idea of victimization and entitlement that they are entitled to something, and these boys have infringed upon their feelings, and so they need to be punished.
Can I read some statements that the girls did make? Let me read this for you guys.
Go ahead.
To tell them we feel unsafe in this environment and we are tired of this toxicity. We want to know what the school is doing to ensure our safety and security. We should be able to learn in an environment without the constant presence of objectification and misogyny.
Okay.
I say go to an all-girls school then.
Yeah, true.
Go ahead and attend an all-girls school.
What if they don't? What if they can't? What if there's not an all-girls school?
then suck it up. It's not that big a deal. It's so annoying to me when people's feelings get hurt and then they lash out and make people's lives horrible because they can't take a. I mean, okay, this isn't a joke. This was ruled. This was rude. I mean, by all means, a list is not okay, and I think we all kind of know that. Whether we've done it or not, a list is a little too far.
Okay, I've never made a list. I've never made a list.
Yeah,
Thank you,
me neither. But so this was a little too far, and it was rude. But the fact that they also didn't try to hurt these girls' feelings should be taken into consideration.
Well, and especially the line that says unsafe.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Unsafe. Yeah. Like, when does that?
There were no threats.
Yeah, and it's not physically. Maybe it's mentally. But again, the government shouldn't care about your feelings.
Mentally unsafe, but even then, this wasn't targeted towards those girls. So,
it wasn't a target because he didn't release it or didn't tell them.
Way too
so it wasn't
far.
a target. Yeah.
Yeah, and we should be able to learn in an environment without the constant presence of objectification. So this was one instance. They've been going to that school for however many years, and all of a sudden they heard about this list that they were ranked in their looks. So we're always in the constant presence of people looking at us and seeing if we're pretty or not.
I mean, I'm so pretty.
Oh wow, Jacob. That statement's impossible to fulfill in an environment without the constant presence of objectification. I'm not saying everyone's objectified all the time, but we're like Caleb. You were probably objectified today somehow. Like I was objectified today.
Everybody makes assumptions about you just by your appearance, and that's something that's human nature, and honestly something that's can be positive. You know, you want to make a good first impression. You want to make a good influence on people. That's why we take care of ourselves. That's why we exercise and do those things and want to look good for people. But the idea that you should be able to do whatever you want and people shouldn't be able to judge you for it.
Without objectification, that's impossible.
Yeah,
at my house, I'm objectified. If I'm holding like a couple of plates I got out of the dishwasher, my mom gives me that look that's like, you better not drop that, you klutz. But that's objectification as well. I mean, you can't get mad at someone.
Yeah, if like I walked around with a dead poodle, like people would be like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, that's objectification too. If you don't know Jacob and he's walking around with the dead poodle.
Wait. If you don't know me, what? Was that an attack on me? He's objectifying me right now. Jeez.
No, I wasn't. Yeah. But it's the same exact situation in this school. They're saying they were objectified because they saw physical representation of it, when really, in reality, they've been objectified in a way every day of their entire lives.
And again, I think it's important to go back to these boys didn't want to show them this. It got out without the boys. They didn't post it. They didn't put it on the wall. They didn't put it on someone's locker.
Also, the presence of misogyny. I don't know if they know the definition of misogyny, but let me read this word for word. Dislike of, contempt for, or ingrained prejudice against women. So that statement was, what they saw was those ratings of themselves, right, by these boys that they know. How is that prejudice against them? Unravel that.
And especially against women, because on that card, I mean, they probably had girls on there that were 10s, right, or like more attractive women. So they weren't objectifying all women. They were objectifying.
They were rated from. Hold on, the number's on here somewhere. It wasn't that. Yeah, it was 5.5 to 9.4. So
what the heck?
This scale rates them all above average. All of them are above average.
And see, they were trying to be nice.
Now I'm completely lost on how these girls are. If I was lucky enough to get above a 5, that means I'm above 50% of all the other guys. Then that's good.
Yeah, you're above the 50 percentile.
Exactly. You know? I don't even know why they're upset. It's basically a compliment.
I think a lot of it comes back to this idea of intersectionality, that feelings matter so much. And if you hurt my feelings, then you have hurt me. And so then I have the right to harm you in some way. And so when you value feelings so much, it's easy to get offended at things, and your self-confidence can totally drop. I'm going to assume that these girls' self-confidence isn't great if they're so worried about guys.
No, they said they had
and assigning
previous
them numbers.
conditions.
Right. So I'm saying a lot of those problems may come from low self-confidence and the idea that you like them and that their feelings matter so much. And I don't know, it's not conducive to a positive person.
I totally agree. Can we look at this article through a first wave feminist lens for a sec, and then we can jump back to third wave for a sec. But first wave feminism was all about like right to vote, equal pay in workplace,
which is good. All
like,
good things.
would a
Equal
first
rights.
wave feminism or would a first wave feminist be upset about this? Like, the first wave feminism was all about total equality, right? Like, men and women should be equal opportunity and looked at the same, right?
Yeah. So
For society.
if women rate men, can men rate women?
Well,
Yes.
Can't if a first wave feminist was looking at this just from the perspective of just trying to be equal in society, like, would this make them upset too? Because I think first wave feminism was pretty reasonable. That was
Definitely.
absolutely.
definitely reasonable. Like,
Absolutely.
complete equality among everyone. So, is this merited, even by their standards? Like,
No.
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 Yeah. I would say no.
I would also say no. I think those women aren't seen as unequal to those boys, right?
Right.
Like,
Right.
and there was no physical threat, right?
True.
There were no rights infringed.
Or impact. No physical impact either.
Just emotional, or so they claim.
Right.
Several girls delivered personal and impassioned speeches describing not only their presence on the list, but also their previous experiences with sexual abuse, harassment, and objectification, both inside the school and outside of it.
But what do those experiences have to do with this?
Yeah. Exactly.
Like
Was this sexual abuse?
No.
Okay,
absolutely
so
not. Not
that's
even close.
Completely void. Harassment.
No, it was not. It didn't reach harassment levels.
Because once again, harassment means that they were trying purposely. For people that don't know, harassment means the boys were trying purposely to like annoy these girls, and that just wasn't the case. And objectification. I think that one's merited.
Again,
Yeah.
it could be objectifying. It could be objectifying, and it probably is. But we all
But that's
objectify
not.
people.
Yeah, but that's
We all
not
objectify people.
merit for this. This
No.
article of third wave feminism just hitting the media like with this much impact is absolutely ridiculous. Agreed?
Well, and this push
Yeah.
of feminism is a lot about making men more feminine and destroying masculinity, and with it, presumably toxic masculinity.
Also, I would like to bring up one last thing that these girls said that it identifies as complete third wave feminism to me. But one of the girls, one of her statements, one of her examples of being harassed or having prejudice against is her mother's. Well, let me read the statement from her. She said, "I feel it when my mother tells me that my third ear piercing will send the wrong message in a workplace setting, and that in the future it's best to let my hair down for job interviews." That was one of her cases of prejudice. Her own mother.
Sounds like good advice to me.
Well, yeah, I think if you have 3 piercings in a workplace, that's going to be like,
Well, yeah, you're just trying to
kind
impress-
of a rebel.
Her mom was just saying you need
want
to impress. Exactly.
Yeah, you want to
and
set
so
a good standard for yourself.
I mean, not to objectify, but those people that have multiple piercings and tattoos sometimes live a wild lifestyle. Correct?
Send us a message.
Yeah, it sends a certain message. So you can send whatever message you want. That's the freedom you have, right?
Yeah.
But I also can receive whatever message I want,
I
right?
completely agree.
So, these girls in these girls' cases, they can send whatever message they want. They can act any way they want. But they will. All those messages they send will be received, and they will be received a certain way, whether they like it or not. Obviously, we want to be kind. We want to care about people. But the government doesn't care about your feelings. Again, the government doesn't care about your feelings. These boys were not trying to be mean. They did not post it anywhere. The girls found it later, after it had been a long gone, and they made a big deal out of it when the boys were just they were saying what they liked in a girl. I'm sure there's boys out there that think those girls are very attractive. There's some boys that don't. So. I don't know. I don't think it's a problem. This article, these statements aren't warranted.
And the final point I'm gonna set is that was one of her examples of the prejudice that she had been feeling. One of her examples of harassment and objectification, and this was from her own mother. So it's clearly
Another
going
woman.
too far. It's going too far.
Yeah.
This third wave feminism, it's completely out of hand. This like harassment that they supposedly felt by these boys, making a harmless list about like what they find attractive, and not even like upsetting. It shouldn't have been upsetting them. They got good ratings on this.
Yeah, I mean above average.
Can we just acknowledge
They
that
probably
for a
said
second?
they
All
only to
these girls
9.4.
that were objectified and harassed were all set at above average. That
Yeah, I mean, what else can you ask for?
if it wasn't ridiculous before, I mean that point just makes it.
And when it says 5.5 to
5.5.
9.4, they probably reserved the rest of the 9.4 to 10 for models or something like that. Because, so these girls are above a 5.5.
55th percentile to 94th.
Yeah,
that's
that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
that's good stuff.
I mean, my bracket right now, NCAA bracket's at a 94th percentile, and I'm pretty happy, you know?
Way to flex on us, Jacob.
Yes, let's go.
My bracket is dying. Anyway, final points we want to make, guys. My point I want to make is that third wave feminism going way too far. Cases like this just absolutely show it. That first wave feminism and even some parts of second wave feminism were merited because of the societal prejudice, but third wave feminism is just a wannabe movement.
I'd like to say that we should love all people. We should take care of all people, but we should treat them like people, right? Black people are people. White people are people. Latinos are people. So if more black people go to jail, it's just more people going to jail. It's not more black people.
I tried to count how many times you said people.
Yeah.
Boom, let's go, dude. So the same thing is with objectifying women and race, all these different things.
Let's let Caleb get his points in.
Okay, that's true because
Caleb, any points you want
I'd
to
like
make?
to say really quick, masculinity and femininity both have positive virtues that should be that men and women should aspire to,
Acknowledge.
and that should be promoted in society. But there are also attributes that are bad and that they should not be promoted. And so a part of growing up is being able to accept that not everybody is going to accept you, and getting past that, and just being confident enough in yourself to say that I don't care.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you, Caleb. And thank you for viewing, guys. We'll see you next week
On Shock Talk.
On Shock Talk.
See you later, shockers.